like to talk about what do the companies that send people to the conferences, or when they want the conference embedded into their own organization or their own conference themselves as a track, what is it that they're wanting these outcomes to be? And I know we talk about this all the time. And for me, there's 5 attributes of a good leader. One of them is walking the talk. And I think that probably has the jewel in it. That might be the top one thing that these leaders, these companies that are sending people to Leadership Brilliance want to see come forward. And to me, that's the word ownership. I know you're in agreement because we've talked a lot about ownership thinking and how you walk the talk, but I think you have some really great insights into what ownership means and what kind of traits or skills our participants are going to leave with around this ownership mindset. You willing to share that?
Yeah, Carl, thanks for that. I think all of the sponsors who send attendees to Leadership Brilliance would love a heightened sense of ownership. But what does that really mean? And so I'd like to explain what we feel is the jewels, as you said, behind ownership. And I think it's this paradox. Ownership means 2 things. On one side, it's a heightened sense of accountability or responsibility for the actions that the manager owns and making sure that they are committed to driving those things across the finish line. So that's one piece. But paradoxically, on the other side, we're all human, and as leaders and managers, there are times when we might fall a little bit short on the mission and we can't get the thing done. And rather than pointing to another department or another leader and saying, well, that's why I couldn't get it done, it's really this sense of vulnerability and being able to own and learn from, when a mission fails, what does that look like? And what could you have done a little bit better to move it across? And so it's really this learning process and this vulnerability around when you can't complete the mission, and also this heightened sense of accountability or responsibility or commitment to the things that you are taking across the finish line. So again, it's one of these great paradoxes in leadership that come up and we talk about in depth at Leadership Brilliance. And I think it's one of the main takeaways from our conference.
Yeah, and I think what's also fascinating around that whole concept, it's also a paradox, is I think a lot of times as a mid-level manager, an up-and-coming leader, I feel a little like anxiety or resistance to manage up. We've talked about that before, or to like own something. Like, can I really own this? And I always flip it around. And as somebody that's run companies and owned companies, and I coach leaders of companies, it's like owners, leaders, C-suite, they're so thirsty for the next level down of leadership to step up, to own it, to lead, walking the talk. We talk about that, to own their actions, be able to be honest, like, hey, I messed up, but here's the solution. And they realize it builds trust and it moves organizations forward. And I think sometimes just us having that conversation with the people at the conference, they go, oh, it really is okay? And we're scratching our head going, yes, that's actually why we're here. So I love that we unpacked ownership a little bit. I think that's a really great takeaway from the conference.
Thanks for that, Carl. Yeah, I think it's every company's dream to have a group of management or managers that own it and have this mindset of like, yeah, I'm going to move this thing across and I'm going to own it when it doesn't, and I'm going to learn from those mistakes and just give them that confidence through Leadership Brilliance.
I really hope you enjoyed our discussion and that content. If you did and you'd like to learn more, I invite you to check out leadershipbrilliance.com, come to one of our conferences, or reach out and let's get into a conversation about how we might be able to bring this content into your organization or your next event. Thanks.